Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session today. Actually filling in for another very highly touted SEO, Kenny Hyder. He was not able to make it to the conference for some unforeseen circumstances, so Scott and I have agreed to jump in and try to fill his shoes as best as we can. So Kenny's intention with this session was that he wanted to have this an interactive session where we would basically take feedback and input from the audience and actually review and grade your sites in terms of how you're doing with your SEO strategy, looking at some on-page factors, some off-page factors, and a few other things. So I'm going to give you just a quick 2-minute much less than that, background about me and what I do, and then Scott, if you'd like to, maybe you could just introduce yourself and what you do at your agency. So, as I mentioned before, my name is Jeremy Palmer, and I'm with Coupon Tiger. I've been doing affiliate marketing since 2003. And I originally started doing just SEO. I didn't really have a budget for paid search. I didn't have a budget for media buys or anything like that. So I really had to get by on free traffic. And the best way, of course, for me at the time was really just trying to rank at the top of Google. And so I've had many successes and probably twice as many failures ranking websites in Google. And where I've had the failures has been where I've been a little bit maybe too aggressive in terms of Google's webmaster guidelines. I have bought links, I've made spammy content, low quality content. I've done all of the things that everyone now knows is the things that get you banned and in trouble with Google. But I really have looked at all of those experiences as something that's taught me what I know today and given me a whole different outlook on how I approach SEO and how I market my websites today. So while I'm not doing some of the riskier, more I guess dangerous things in terms of SEO today, it certainly has helped shape my philosophy. So Scott, why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about your background?
Yeah, I'm Scott Polk, but anybody in here before saw me. So I've been doing SEO now for about 17 years. I run a agency now called Marketing Nomads. It is new. I've done mainly in-house and worked for agencies and been a consultant for the majority of the time, so now I'm kind of doing my own thing and I'm liking it, but it's interesting. I have a philosophy with SEO. I don't believe in black hat, gray hat, white hat. I believe in risk management, and we weigh the risks based on the industry and how aggressive you need to be to hit your goals.
I think that's a good way to look at it too. It's definitely too narrow to say that that's a black hat strategy or a gray hat strategy. What works and what's going to cost you potentially long-term success with Google. So with that said, I want to maybe just lay out kind of an overall foundation for maybe my belief in what SEO really is and how to be successful with it, maybe both short-term and long-term. And then, I'd love to get maybe some input from you, and then we could actually put some sites up on the screen and go through and maybe do an audit. So my philosophy is that the 80% of how you're going to perform in the search engines really has more to do with off-page factors than on-page factors. Now, that's not meant to discount the on-page factors, because if you don't do those things right, it will certainly hurt your rankings. But from my experience, what other people say about you, how other people link to you, the quality of those sites, the quantity of those sites, has a far greater impact on where you're going to rank than tweaking your title tag or keywords on your page and things like that. And the reason that I know that is because if you do a search today, who are the sites that rank, for non-commercial terms? You probably see a lot of Wikipedia and sites like that have, really rich content, lots of links to, millions of pages on the site, and of course, not really any SEO. People don't write Wikipedia articles with SEO in mind. They do it to be helpful. They do it to make the page informative. And same thing with a lot of commercial pages. You'll see a lot of Amazon and some of the bigger e-commerce stores that rank well, and they know a fair amount about SEO, and certainly they take that into consideration as they have built their platforms and built their sites and create the pages and whatnot. But at the same time, they have so many outside factors, links, brand mentions, all of these things that I think have done much more for their SEO success maybe than what they did with a particular image or a headline. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, links are definitely important. I put a value right now on 3 buckets with SEO. I mean, you have content, architecture, and then what I like to call popularity. And popularity are your off-site factors links, mentions, citations, social signals, so on and so forth. But I still put that about 50-55%. So it, just as you said, I mean, links are probably, or that side of it is probably one of the most important things that you can do. It's going to have the most impact for you overall. But if the other parts of your overall strategy are not in place, then you're going to be suffering down the road. As soon as a strong competitor comes in that has more of a balanced equation, you're not going to do as well. So as much as I do agree, I mean, you want to make sure that you're doing everything as best as you possibly can, because it's all looked at, and the algorithm may change.
Yeah, I think that's a real strong point to make, because all things being equal, the person who has better on-page optimization is certainly going to win that. And so let's talk a little bit about on-page optimization. And again, I would like to defer to Scott on some of the strategies that he's using at his agency to help clients rank and help them kind of audit their pages. But what I like to do is a lot of the on-page SEO, in my opinion, is kind of formulaic in terms of, a title tag should only be so many characters. It should include, important keywords. Your content on your page shouldn't, be under a certain amount of characters or words. And there's a lot of different sites out there that can kind of do these audits for you. So, for example, if you're using WordPress, who in here, just a quick show of hands, who is using WordPress to power their sites? So 90% of the people in the room are using WordPress, and the great thing about using a content management system is it really kind of dumbs down a lot of the, I think, SEO that needs to be performed on the page if you're using it correctly. And there's very helpful plugins like WordPress SEO that's made by a guy in Belgium.
Yoast.
Yoast, WordPress SEO plugin that really goes in and analyzes some of your content. It looks at image tags and title tags and things like that, and offers a score. It basically says, okay, you're missing this or you're missing that, or maybe add more content. And there's other tools and other plugins for WordPress that offer similar functionality, but that's the tool that I keep coming back to time and time again. Another tool, if you're not using WordPress, or even if you are using WordPress, that you guys, I recommend try out, is WooRank. And basically what that does is it doesn't just look at maybe an individual post or page, but it will kind of look at the site as a whole. Do you have and I hope I don't make this too technical, but do you have like a robots.txt file, which is something that just basically tells Google how to crawl your site? Are you using the proper version of your URLs, and are they redirecting properly, and things like that? And so I'll get into that in just a moment as we look at some of your individual sites and talk about how that works. But there's also some other free tools like Google PageSpeed Optimizer that basically shows you your images maybe are too big and your site's loading too slow, and it looks at site speed, which is a very important factor in terms of how you rank. And so I like to use and rely on a lot of these tools as a site owner and publisher to help me kind of do the 90% that's going to help me with my on-page SEO. Now guys like Scott and other professional SEOs, they know things that probably you're not going to get back from some of those reports, and certainly there's a place where an SEO consultant can really help you, especially when it comes to more complicated SEO concerns. But as far as trying to do things effectively, good return on investment, I find that tools like WooRank and some of the others really offer a lot of helpful insights that will get you most of what you need with your on-page optimization.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like Yoast is probably the best plugin for WordPress you can get. I don't use anything else. I don't recommend anything else for SEO. But there's a lot of good tools that are out there. I mean, I think you mentioned probably the best ones that I can think of at the moment. But beyond that, you want to actually kind of get a good understanding of what you're actually looking at. The goal overall, I mean, regardless of how aggressive you get, you want to make sure that everything looks natural. Really designed for the user, make sure that it is going to convert the way you need it to convert. I mean, the SEO is very technical from my perspective. I mean, one of the things I always like to say is, regardless of design or whatever you need to do with the site, there's a technical solution to make sure I can get exactly what I need from an SEO perspective.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Certainly, the tool is only as effective as the person who's using it, and if you're seeing a lot of jargon and things offered back from these tools that you're not understanding and you don't understand what they're trying to convey to you, then it's not a very effective tool. So I like what you pointed out there. So with that said, I think you've got an overall idea of SEO philosophy from maybe two different people with two different perspectives, and hopefully that kind of gives you a different vantage point. But I'd like to just dive into some of your websites now and do a couple of audits, and we can give you some free advice and feedback to see how we can help you. So who wants to be the first volunteer? And I would ask, if you do want to volunteer your site, just so that we can get this on the recording, maybe step back to that mic and mention your site. You could even line up if you want to, and then we can get that on the tape, or get that on the video. It's probably not a tape at this point. And I just wanted to mention that we have another panelist on stage, Adam Reamer. He does SEO consulting as well, very reputable SEO consultant.
I think you're the only person that ever said that.
First time I've heard it.
And so certainly his insights as we go through and look at the different pages, I think are going to be extremely valuable as well. So go ahead and tell us your site. I'll get it up on the screen, and we can go over it as a panel and provide some feedback.
No.
I can't hear you up here. I'll repeat it. If that mic doesn't work, I'll just repeat it for the video.
All right, so I have a question versus a site. So the question is that now with the latest Google algorithm, they're really cracking down on, backlinks that aren't like 100% legit, right? And then you say that 55% of your ranking is determined on what happens off the site. So what do you recommend for making sure that we get that 55%? What would the approach be to make sure that they're legitimate?
So to repeat her question, she said links pointing into your site are very important and go a long way in determining how you rank in Google and other search engines. And yet they've recently come out and said that any kind of link that they think is fabricated or kind of manufactured, they would devalue. So how do you get around that challenge, and how do you overcome that? I would love to hear some feedback from you guys, and then I have some thoughts on that too, but go ahead.
So the question's, how do you get more high quality
Yeah, high quality links, exactly. How do you get more high quality, legitimate links that Google doesn't consider to be fake?
I mean, you're going to answer as well, of course. I think, the ideal answer for that is to create great content. And the thing is, you need to create great content regardless, but that's not where you need to stop. Google will always say, create the content, they will come. That's BS. Create the content, though. Do make sure it's high quality, and then make sure you're able to do outreach and push that content out as a resource to other people. You'll get links, naturally that way, and generally you're going to get higher quality ones. I mean, you can always hire somebody to help you do that, but you need to have the great content, then you need to be able to promote it, and that's where the push comes in. It's not as utopian as create content and it will come.
Yeah, and
you
then
got to kick it in the butt.
I'm going to teach you how to buy a link real quick that's natural. And this, it's actually true though. I actually wrote a great post about this on Search Engine Journal. So you create the content, suppose it's an infographic, or suppose it's something else, okay? You put that content into your site. Now, you know that that's going to be a resource type of thing for your site. So the more important thing there is you pass the internal links through. Are you familiar with internal linking structures? Okay, cool. So what you do is you write a little bit of content in there, and you also include your internal links to boost up the pages that you want. And I freaking hate saying like boost and link juice. But so then if you think that that actually has a chance to catch on, here's where you're going to spend a little bit of money. As you've noticed that it is generating it, you go and you figure out who is that's actually already linking and who's actually sharing this. Then you go into your social media channels, like Facebook, for example. You could target job description, blog owner, also as a Facebook admin. Okay, now you can start to run that infographic or run some sort of really fun, cool looking image that actually shows it, and now you're just hitting people that own websites, are Facebook admins, have an interest in e-commerce, and you're attracting them and bringing them to it. So you're kind of like fanning it. It's not technically buying a link, but you are targeting people that have access to give you a link that are also relevant. So if it's some sort of fashion thing, there's a trendy moms category in Facebook targeting. If you know that it's geared towards people over this and you mainly want female webmasters, you can actually do a female split, and then you can put the age range, then you can do it by city. Suppose it's just like it's more of a country joke. You can block big city people from it and just target out into the suburb areas. So you can really do that, and now you're bringing the audience that has the ability to give you it, that writes about that content, getting them to it, getting them to share it, and wanting to link to it. Search Engine Journal. It's how to increase your chances of .edu links. I also use it to get .gov links and news pickups.
So I have kind of an offline way of getting links, and it goes back to PR, relationships, and ego bait. Those are all three, in my opinion, still legitimate ways to get links to your website. So for example, being here at a conference and speaking, there might be a blogger in the room that recaps this session and maybe links to my website. So that's, a slam dunk. That's an easy link to get. Just guest posting on other sites. Now, not excessively, but certainly, let's say, for example, my wife is launching a new site and she's going to be working with some different companies that make blenders. They offered for her to guest post on their site and share one of her recipes. And so that's still a legitimate way to get links to your website without really triggering something bad from Google. It's the people that I think do this to excess that really have more to worry about. The people that only guest post for the links and not for the visibility, not for the traffic and things like that. So good old-fashioned PR, relationship building with your merchants, with vendors in your category. Like people here who are attending this conference and other industry shows have a huge advantage, in my opinion, over the people who are staying home and trying to kind of build this relationship and build these links online, because it's just much harder to do. It's harder to get somebody's attention. It's harder to get their time and talk about you and your brand and your site and things like that. So that's one of my favorite legitimate ways to continue building links.
And one more thing about the whole thing, it's go after the quality sites that are quality content. And if you have links coming in from sites that do the contests, the giveaways, the sponsored posts, they're basically selling links, they're promising to like stuff, and that's clearly against it. So that could eventually play in and cause a lot of damage. So focus on the ones that don't allow sponsored posts, don't allow guest posts, don't allow that stuff, and really work at that. And just get the really quality content. Guest posting is not dead.
No.
Doing it the right way is still alive.
Yeah. If the site is all it is just a site and it just has guest posting on every single page, then yeah, probably stay away from it.
I see there's another question back there.
Yes, hi. I'm a little embarrassed to be up here because I think of myself as a little bit of an SEO expert, yet I have a great website for you to just tear apart because a lot of people learned from all the mistakes that were made on that site. So the site name is asseenattv.com.
With two S's?
Yes, variation of as seen on TV. And this will be great to show.
Does that look
terrible.
right?
It's going to take a long time to load, which is number one no-no.
Is that right?
You'll see a bunch of SEO no-nos.
Okay.
Well, one thing is on Webmaster Central, Matt Cutts, while he was still with Google, did a big thing about putting a big ad at the top of your site. You don't make people scroll to find the content. You're making them scroll with this huge honking ad right on the top. That's something that's definitely negative.
Yeah, and in fact, just from looking at it, you've got your nav bar. Of course, maybe that's a decent headline depending on what you're trying to rank for. But as he pointed out, you've got that huge ad block there, and then you've got those four, what looks like just more ads. I'll just scroll down a little bit and see.
Scroll down a lot.
And these must be products that you guys.
Jeremy, keep scrolling.
Scroll down a lot.
Yeah.
First thing is you have way too many links on your homepage. I mean, I'm looking on my mobile phone, and then I come across just link after link after link after link after link. You have no real content on there. But this is your homepage.
And you don't put your content at the bottom and then link it through. That's also bad. You also have over-optimization. Like this is a prime penalty. Look at that, asseenattv.com, asseenattv.com. This is way over-optimizing. There are tags that they released that may not be available anymore called Google on and Google off tags that you can put in your HTML, and that'll actually tell Googlebot to not index what's in between the tags. Now that's a very old tag, so they may not use it anymore, but it's something if you don't feel like doing real work on it, that could push that part away from the indexing.
Look at what's at the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Keep going.
That's horrible.
So this is basically a directory of links, and I assume that this was meant for reciprocal linking. Is that right? Yeah, that's just kind of like something you need to avoid like the plague. Very bad, especially site-wide footer or navigation links like that can really My guess is this site's probably already been penalized, and we could certainly look at this in Google Webmaster Tools to kind of see what Google officially says about it. But there's definitely a lot of problems here in terms of just content focus, ads, reciprocal linking that may or may not be related to what you're doing with this particular site.
So, no, these are links to
they're the product pages?
So the bigger
Okay.
issue with this
Gotcha.
one right here is that it looks like you're trying to spam for the words info about. Like, that's what your page is about, info about. It's not about these actual products. And again, that's an over-optimization thing. And having that many is not going to help you. Reduce it. I think the maximum you may want, and everyone has different opinions, try to keep it under 20 internal links, especially off of your homepage. Just don't put more, and it should actually be a lot less than that too. And there's no clean, clear navigation. So you may want to start at the top of your site just to help people find in health and beauty, kids, nutraceuticals, and then other, or seasonal, and help people actually navigate their way through and build content throughout to help it rank.
Now, the content you have on each one of these offers, I mean, I'm assuming this is, so you're running an affiliate. I mean, you're generating revenue through affiliate links, right? So did you write any of the content, or is this what comes from your feeds? Okay. That's going to be number one thing you're going to want to also look at. I mean, you really need to take a look at your site as from an architectural standpoint. I mean, right now on your homepage, and I haven't been able to count actually, but I mean, it looks like you've got like 1 million links there. And I know you don't, but I mean, every product you have or everything that you're offering, it looks like you're linking to it at least twice. Once in the, the box, but it looks like in the table, and then down below it. Start at the top, create categories. Without using a better word, you need to silo or theme your internal content and then create a URL structure that goes along with that, but also follow that virtually with the linking structure as well. Start out your homepage. Your homepage is your landing page. You want to direct people there. You want to grab their attention to let them know that this is a great place to be. If it's got dancing hula girls, whatever that is, hook them that way. Then, flow them through. From a search perspective, you're going to want people to actually land on, well, if they're searching for the Turbo Fire, just because that was the page I was on, whatever that is, that's where you want to optimize for that. And it's going to require a bit of work. I mean, you're basically going to have to scrap the site and start over. And I don't mean that from a negative perspective, but yeah, I'm being blinded.
Thank you. Yeah, we're ready for the next question. Go ahead.
Hi. How important is social media mentions for SEO?
You said something about social media?
Yeah, social media mentions for SEO. How important is that?
Yeah, I mean, so how important is social media in terms of ranking factors? Okay, so the question was, how important is social media with ranking factors? And I feel that it's one of the key signals now if it's done in an authentic way. I think that what a lot of people have done is they've tried to maybe game social media by maybe buying followers or buying likes and things like that. And I think that Google's certainly developed algorithms that can filter out a lot of things that they don't consider to be real. So if your social media is done right and it's authentic, I think that it's definitely a key point that will help you rank. I apologize. This was kind of a short session. I didn't realize it was as short as it is. Time went by fast. But I would love to, if you guys want to reach out to me, I've got some business cards. I'd be happy to hand them out. If you had any individual questions or wanted some follow-up and you didn't get an answer today, be happy to take it offline and help you out as much as I can.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.